Hello and welcome to an album a day 328, going through my media collection one at a time. Today we are on the band I haven't covered a whole lot in CDs because I only have a couple. I got them because I plan on covering them on the Haskincast podcast. I've only covered one of their albums so far. Have the entire vinyl collection, but I don't have a lot of them digitally. So that's always the struggle now. Like, do I get the digital so I can cover it on the show, or do I get the vinyl because I want it for my collection? And the answer to both is yes. So slowly working on building the digital collection. I'll get to them eventually. I've covered one so far. I'm talking about Led Zeppelin, and this album is Presence. Cool album. The cover, I don't know what's going on with this. I've never really understood the concept of really most of their album covers. But I've always thought that the water was incredibly green. And typically green water, if you've ever worked in mortgage and you've done refis on houses that have pool, green water is not good. Although in a harbor, I don't know, maybe they used a tint on the, I have no idea, because it just looks really weird like that. I don't know, that bugs me. But it's a nice little family out for dinner. I don't know what, maybe they're doing a seance or something. Maybe they're reenacting the opening to 2001: A Space Odyssey. I have no idea what they're even doing. But they're sat at a table at what appears to be a restaurant. They're all dressed up, which is really nice. When I go to LA for the NAMM show, I typically take one day and go to the beach. I go to Newport Beach. I know a little spot there that's just absolutely perfect. I spend the day walking up and down the beach, and then I'll take a break and just sit there in the sand and enjoy the sound of the waves and all that. But and then of course I got to film some footage for potential Mental Sauna videos because I'm at the ocean, and why wouldn't I? But usually what I'll do is I'll find a nice little restaurant on the waterfront and just, have a nice lunch, treat myself to a nice lunch. And there's the place that I went to last time. I was sat like right there at the back where it just opens up to the sort of span between Newport Beach and Balboa Island. And, little small boats passing by and taking tourists here and there. And it was just actually really nice. And I can appreciate the setting for this, I think, because I've had those experiences. But what's actually going on, I haven't a clue. So this album, believe it or not, came out in 1976. And it's weird to think about how long ago Led Zeppelin was a band. I just think of them in terms as they're a band in my world, and I don't tend to think of the time frame. They weren't really out for very long, but it's been that long ago. On the back of the booklet, we get this, and the album cover, of course, as I showed you when I did the vinyl, has all these pictures in it as well. Just a very simple little booklet, which I think is great. Again, I have no idea what this object is or what it's all about, but it predominantly covers the inside of this. It almost looks like there's room for writing here, like writing notes, but I don't think that's what it's designed for, because why would you ruin it with that? Very strange. Very simple, plain CD from Swan Song. I'm sure the newer editions of this probably have like the colorful Swan Song logo and all this, but this, I don't know what year this came out because I couldn't identify the release year of the CD, but I will say that this probably came out at one of the earlier pressings and came out in a time when really the CD pressings were like this. They weren't doing pictures and stuff like that yet. So my guess is it's probably an earlier edition of CDs, probably somewhere in the early 90s, but I could not get confirmation from this. Then on the back, we get a couple more pictures, not really much to speak of. Since I have not covered this on the show yet, I won't go into how I feel about the songs. I'll do that on the podcast. I'll just tell you what we get on this one. We do get 7 songs, and it starts with Achilles' Last Stand as the opener, For Your Life, Royal Orleans, Nobody's Fault But Mine, Candy Store Rock, Hot Sun for Nowhere, and Tea for One. That will be my day. Tea for one, coffee for one, water for one. That's what I have going on today. Obviously, this is a used CD. It has the remnants of the sticker in the back. I'll find a way to get that off at some point. Sometimes a little, hot water on a cloth will help you rub this through. Sometimes you can use a little bit of Goo Gone if there's residue from the sticker. But that's about it. Pretty simple one. Fits nicely on the shelf. It's a CD size, as all CDs. But really cool stuff, and hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful weekend. If you are in the States, we're heading into Thanksgiving this week, so your work week should be short. preceding the calamity of Black Friday. I don't know how much of Black Friday is actually physical anymore because I've only been out to one and I swore I would never do that again. It was absolute pandemonium and just a waste. Now with the digital age, I would imagine that there's so much more that's just done online, done through Amazon, Walmart, all the companies that have sales. Support your local businesses, guys. Support your independent people if you can. Amazon's not struggling. If it costs you $1 or $2 more to get it from an independent artist, it's worth it because you're making a difference in those people's lives. Amazon doesn't even know you exist. That's it. I do have a new soundtrack coming out at the end of the week. It'll be next Saturday. It is for a horror film that I scored back in the early days when I was just getting into film scoring. Listening back to the score, there's some things I could have done better, but there's some stuff I'm really proud of. I love some of the ideas on here. Some of them match the visuals really, really well. And I'm always proud of the work that I've done. I take it as where I was when I did it. And you have to look at it that way, because if you compare that to where you are 10, 20 years later, nothing's ever going to hold up. You have to look at it as, at this age, at this time, with this knowledge base, with this level of experience, here's what I did. And I think there's some really good stuff on there. In fact, a couple of the pieces I have not been able to get out of my head, driving me kind of nuts, but that will be coming out Saturday. In the meantime, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in another episode tomorrow. Tonight, we have Deep Purple Smoke on the podcast and a new episode of Nate and John Show, the Deep Purple podcast. So check those out, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.